Hey Vapors, Alucard here. Today I have Ben, also known as Porphy from avjuice.com. That's Alien Visions e-juice. How are you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. A lot of vapors may not know that you're currently in Korea. So give us a little background on yourself and how you ended up there.
I actually came over here to teach after I got out of the military. My wife and I, we were in Houston, nose to the grindstone every day, and we decided that the hustle and bustle of the city was a bit too much. We both got done with college around the same time, and I always told her that I wanted to take her to Korea to have a vacation. So she started looking into it and saw teaching, and that was what we both wanted to do anyway. So we decided we'd come over here for a year, give it a shot. Came over here for a year, really liked the money, and stayed.
Cool, cool. Okay, let's get to the first question. Approximately how long were you a smoker? What did you smoke and how much?
I was a smoker for 21 years, being 30. Yeah, that means I started when I was 9 years old. I had an older brother who started smoking really young, and I picked up in his footsteps around the same time. My go-to cigarette when I quit was a Newport 100s, and I was smoking 1.5 to 2 packs a day.
How long have you been vaping? And where did you first hear about it?
And I first heard about it from a fellow smoker who we were having a discussion one night at his house over a barbecue, and he said, I told him I tried the patch and Chantix and the gum and this and that and the other, and he said, well, have you tried the e-cigarette? I'd never heard about it. I was like, no, I haven't tried the e-cigarette. He's like, well, I'll get one for you and you give it a try. You tell me how it is. And I was like, all right, dude, but it's going to fail because, nothing else worked. And he got me a 510 manual starter kit. And 4 days into it, I looked at the thing in my hand and I said, holy crap, this is working. This is really going to do it. A side story to that is he is now an e-cigarette user. He contacted me a couple months ago, wanted an update. I gave it to him. He now uses a 510 manual starter kit and orders juice for me. So he got me onto it, and I helped him out by getting him onto it.
What is the first PV that you tried and did it work for you?
That would be the 510 manual, and it worked for me, but after the honeymoon was over, after about 2 weeks, I started looking for something better, something that I didn't have to change the battery to every 2 hours, and something that I didn't have to refill the cart constantly on it.
In your own words, describe to us what throat hit means to you.
Throat hit is the sensation of a substance coming into your lungs, other than air, and your lungs sort of, it's just a pressure of the atmosphere against the backside of your esophagus. It's also a slight burning sensation. It's a culmination of those two things. And it's a slight burning sensation from the nicotine or products inside of the vaping mixture, which would be propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, or the flavoring. Add all of that together, and you get a proper throat hit.
What milligram do you currently vape? See yourself going to zero nic at any time?
I do see myself going to zero nic, probably in the next year. I started off at 36 and 48. 36 regular, and then there was WMDS. That's the period of time that I call it. That was waking, meals, drinking, and, well, the S is sex. At those points in time, you need that higher bit of nicotine, and I would go to the 48. I currently vape 12 milligrams regular with a 24 here and there. WMD. That's 3/4 of a year. So I see myself being at 0 milligram relatively quickly. It was very easy to cut down. I didn't even notice when I cut down my nicotine that I had cut down my nicotine.
When did you first get the idea of owning your own business, and why e-juice specifically?
Well, the first time I got the idea was from Dawn at DIY Flavor Shack. She was taking me through the stages of mixing my own liquids, and that's her specialty. She does hand mix custom liquids herself, and she got me onto it, and she knew that I was in Korea, so it was easier for me to learn to mix my own juices, even though I was fully willing and able to give her money for her to send me juices. She was willing to, tell me that it would cut my costs if I mixed it myself. And she, after a while, she, was like, well, why don't you sell it? You can get it so cheap over there. And, and she kept driving that into my head every time I talked to her. And also my wife was, always there at the side saying, well, why don't you go into business and start selling it if you can get it cheap? And eventually I just started doing some research, took, a week or two and hashed everything out, and really had to question myself, like, why am I not already in business with this? It's something that I love doing. I love creating the flavors. I feel like a mad scientist when I'm doing it. And it does have that altruistic benefit where someone gets my juice and they say, hey, I like it, I eat that up, man. That just gives me the giggles every time someone says that they like my juice, and it's, when they say that equates to me that, hey, I like your juice, I would rather be doing this than smoking. Nobody's ever actually said that to me, but that's the way it feels, is yes, keep those cancer sticks away. Let's keep on vaping.
Where does the name Porphy come from?
The name Porphy comes from a character I had in a video game. I used to play World of Warcraft, and my wife had an account on World of Warcraft 2 for nothing more than to get to know the game and sort of understand what it was that I loved about the game. And she had a character on there named Porphyritica, and it was a hybrid of porphyria and porphyrite, which is like blood and a bloodstone, and to make it a girly name. So eventually she stopped playing, and I took over the character, and my fellow players hated typing out Porphyritica constantly. So I ended up getting my name shortened to Porphy, because it was much easier to type, so that they could, type out my name and talk to me easily and quickly. And it stuck with me. Every time I tried to use it in a chat room, it was always open. Nobody ever had Porphy. It's just one of those off-the-wall names that sticks with you, and it just keeps going and going and going. It also has an effeminate sound to it, so when people see Porphy and then hear my voice, it throws them off a little bit. I enjoy that. That's just the type of person I am.
We got a question from one of our viewers, specifically for this interview. Frank writes, I want to stop smoking, but I only smoke 2 menthol cigs a day. Is vaping something I should try?
Well, definitely if it gets you off of the cigarettes, for sure. And menthol cigarettes, 2 menthol cigarettes, in my opinion, is equivalent to 6. Because, I was smoking Newports. So definitely vaping is a way to go, even if it's 0 milligram. It's better for you than the 4,000 other chemicals that are associated with smoking, and the smell and the, social stigma. There might be a small stigma with electronic cigarettes only because they look like cigarettes. But as far as everything else, there's not. It's just better for you health-wise, better for you socially, better for you in your own self-respect when you wake up in the morning. And I know for a fact that even smoking 1 cigarette makes you feel like crap when you wake up in the morning. Your chest just feels like it's been caved in. Yeah, definitely. Definitely vaping is a way, it's an alternative to smoking.
Okay, we're about to wrap up this interview. Any shout-outs?
Shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to my man Carlos, who's probably still busy working on juice boxes right now. Shout-out to Dawn at DIY Flavor Shack. Without her, never would have went into business for myself, and I would have never have known the joy of doing this as a business. Got to give a shout-out to Bria Leanna, who eventually got me headed in the right direction, hooked me up with Dawn. Thanks to her, and thanks to everybody at New Vapor Chat. That's a wonderful resource for all new vapors and future vapors. It's a great place to go and meet face-to-face with consumers, suppliers, modders, anybody in the gamut of the e-cig community, and get the information you need. Definitely go there if you haven't already done it. It's a great place.
I'd like to thank Porphy for doing this interview, newvapor.com, and to you guys, the vaping community. You are who I'm doing this for. Thanks, guys. Keep vaping. We'll catch you later.
Ciao.